TimWilliams é outro compositor com residência em Hollywood e ligado a um filme português. Depois de compor para produções como Watchmen ou 300, Timothy ficou responsável pelas partituras de Amor em Jogo, um filme que estreia já no próximo 4 de junho em Portugal. Tim, it's a pleasure to meet you.
Very nice to meet you too. I'm very well, thank you.
Fantastic. Tim, how did you get attached to this project, Star-Crossed?
I had just finished a film with the director Mark Heller called The Passage, and he said his next film was going to be this amazing concept of Romeo and Juliet, which is a well-known classic, a fantastic storyline. Except the twist was it was going to be shot in Portugal, and the two rival families were going to be these two football teams that hated each other.
Tim, I know you've also worked in studio projects, big ones like Watchmen and 300. How is it different to make a score for this kind of movies and to movies like Star-Crossed, for instance?
The difference is, on a big budget film, you don't have to worry about money,
right?
You know. But on a smaller budget film, on an art film, you learn how to, you know, the process of doing a lot of big films really trains you on how to get what you need quickly. When I conducted 300 or when I do Watchmen, you know, it costs about $300,000 a day to be with these people. So if you waste 5 minutes, you can imagine how expensive that is. Right. You know, there's a scene where, you know, one of the key people is very badly wounded and injured, and the score becomes very tense and suspenseful. And so, you know, if they're playing like this, which often orchestras will do, you know, it's like, no, this needs to be tense. Come on, really, really aggressive, you know.
How long do you take to make a score like this?
Usually 2 to 3 months.
2 to 3 months?
Yeah.
Everything?
Everything.
The composition, orchestration?
And recording.
And recording.
Yeah, the timelines are very fast, and thankfully through working on a lot of projects for Disney, a lot of projects for Universal, for Warner Brothers, that skill is something I learned in Hollywood.
You're rebels. A disgrace. What I just saw out there was an abomination. As of today, both teams are suspended pending a full investigation. Now, get up!
And one of the things that I was very torn with in this film was the use of electric guitar, because I was thinking it's Romeo and Juliet, so it's a classical story. And in discussions with Mark Heller, the director, we spoke about how much of this film is classical, how much of it is modern day. And his whole approach was to make it completely modern. I can show you an example of it in terms of this. So this was the main theme that I wrote for the couple.
Beautiful.
Yeah. And then we got the piano, but then you also have this electronic stuff starts to float in here. You hear the da 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 da. So this is again this kind of mixture of the classic romantic theme, but with these electronic elements that make it feel modern.
I find that here in Hollywood, there are a lot of people that are actually music and score composers, but they don't have the classical training and the knowledge of orchestration and how to write the notes. I mean, is it possible to actually achieve this quality without having that knowledge behind to support it?
It is. It makes it a lot harder, but there are some very, very talented people. I mean, you look at Paul McCartney. Paul McCartney had no musical training. They're just people who, at the end of the day, no matter how hard you work, there's a gift involved. You know, you can have a talent in music and not really have had the formal training, but you're just very good at what you do, and you can sit down at the piano and play it out. At a certain point, though, you're going to have to bring in someone who knows what they're doing to write that out for musicians so that they can play it.
If my dream was to be a composer like you, what would you tell me to do? To go and study music?
Yes.
Or to just go to a piano and try to create music?
Both. I think you have to balance between studying and
being creative.
And I think one of the things that's very important, one of the pieces of advice that I was given that I think is most important, is to try to find your voice. And that's very hard to do, because in Hollywood I get called on to do so many different styles, so many different types of music, that I have to be good at doing this, I have to be good at doing that, I have to be good at doing that. But the thing I liked about doing these, what I would call true art films that are really passionate and artistic, is that I get to find my voice.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Tim,
great pleasure to meet you. Thank you.
I'll never leave me.
Never leave you.
Till death do us part.